Good afternoon and welcome back to another episode of The Longing. Today we are going to be continuing to read Thus Spoke Zarathustra, and I'm recording this a little bit earlier than normal, just because I'm busy today, the rest of the day. So let's get going. Thus spake Zarathustra, and, laughing with eyes and entrails, he stood still and turned round quickly, and behold, he almost thereby threw his shadow and follower to the ground. So closely had the latter followed at his heels, and so weak was he. For when Zarathustra scrutinized him with his glance, he was frightened as by a sudden apparition. So slender, swarthy, hollow, and worn out did this follower appear. "Who art thou?" asked Zarathustra vehemently. I do know that word. What doest thou here? And why callest thou thyself my shadow? Thou art not pleasing unto me. "Forgive me," answered the shadow, "that it is I, and if I please thee not, well, O Zarathustra, therein do I admire thee and thy good taste. A wanderer am I, who have walked long at thy heels, always on the way, but without a goal, also without a home, so that verily I lack little of being the eternally wandering Jew, except that I am not eternal and not a Jew. What, must I ever be on the way, whirled by every wind, unsettled, driven about? O earth, thou hast become too round for me. On every surface have I already sat. Like tired dust have I fallen asleep on mirrors and window panes. Everything taketh from me, not giveth. I become thin, I am almost equal to a shadow. After thee, however, O Zarathustra, did I fly and hie longest, and though I hid myself from thee, I was nevertheless thy best shadow. Wherever thou hast sat, there sat I also. With thee have I wandered about in the remotest, coldest worlds, like a phantom that voluntarily haunteth winter roofs and snows. With thee have I pushed into all the forbidden, all the worst and the furthest. And if there be anything of virtue in me, it is that I have had no fear of any prohibition. With thee have I broken up whatever my heart revered. All boundary stones and statues have I overthrown. The most dangerous wishes did I pursue. Verily, beyond every crime did I once go. With thee did I unlearn the belief in words and worths and in great names. When the devil casteth his skin, doth not his name also fall away? It is also skin. The devil himself is perhaps skin. Nothing is true, all is permitted. So said I to myself. Into the coldest water did I plunge with head and heart. Ah, how oft did I stand there naked on that account, like a red crab. Ah, where have gone all my goodness and all my shame and all my belief in the good? Ah, where is the lying innocence which I once possessed, the innocence of the good and their noble lies? Too oft, verily, did I follow close to the heels of truth. Then did it kick me on the face. Sometimes I meant to lie, and behold, then only did I hit the truth. Too much hath become clear unto me, now doth it not concern me any more. Nothing liveth any longer that I love, how should I still love myself? To live as I incline, or not to live at all, so do I wish, so wisheth also the holiest. But alas, how have I still inclination? Have I still a goal, a haven towards which my sail is set? A good wind, ah, he only knoweth whither he saileth, knoweth what wind is good, and a fair wind for him. What still remaineth to me? A heart weary and flippant, an unstable will, fluttering wings, a broken backbone. This seeking for my home, O Zarathustra, dost thou know what this seeking hath been, my home sickening? It eateth me up. Where is my home? For it do I ask and seek, and have sought, but have not found it. O eternal everywhere, O eternal nowhere, O eternal in vain. Thus spake the shadow, and Zarathustra's countenance lengthened at his words. Thou art my shadow, said he at last, sadly. Thy danger is not small, thou free spirit and wanderer. Thou hast had a bad day. See that a still worse evening doth not overtake thee. To such unsettled ones as thou, seemeth at last even a prisoner blessed. Oh, excuse me. Didst thou ever see how captured criminals sleep? They sleep quietly. They enjoy their new security. Beware lest in the end a narrow faith capture thee, a hard, rigorous delusion. For now everything that is narrow and fixed seduceth and tempteth thee. Thou hast lost thy goal. Alas, how wilt thou forego and forget that loss? Thereby hast thou also lost thy way. Thou poor rover and rambler, thou tired butterfly, wilt thou have a rest and a home this evening? Then go up to my cave. Thither leadeth the way to my cave, and now will I run quickly away from thee again. Already lieth, as it were, a shadow upon me. I will run alone, so that it may again become bright around me. Therefore must I still be a long time merrily upon my legs. In the evening, however, there will be dancing with me. Thus spake Zarathustra. Chapter 70. Noontide. And Zarathustra ran and ran, but he found no one else, and was alone and ever found himself again. He enjoyed and quaffed his solitude, and thought of good things for hours. About the hour of noontide, however, when the sun stood exactly over Zarathustra's head, he passed an old bent and gnarled tree, which was encircled round by the ardent love of a vine, and hidden from itself. From this there hung yellow grapes in abundance, confronting the wanderer. Then he felt inclined to quench a little thirst, and to break off for himself a cluster of grapes. When, however, he had already his arm outstretched for that purpose, he felt still more inclined for something else, namely, to lie down beside the tree at the hour of perfect noontide, and sleep. This Zarathustra did, and no sooner had he laid himself on the ground in the stillness and secrecy of the variegated grass, that he had forgotten his little thirst, and fell asleep. For as the proverb of Zarathustra saith, one thing is more necessary than the other. Only that his eyes remained open, for they never grew weary of viewing and admiring the tree, and the love of the vine. In falling asleep, however, Zarathustra spake thus to his heart. Hush, hush, hath not the world now become perfect? What hath happened unto me? As a delicate wind danceth invisibly upon par-quitted seas, light, feather-light, so danceth sleep upon me. No eye doth it close to me, it leaveth my soul awake. Light is it, verily feather-light. It persuadeth me, I know not how. It toucheth me inwardly with a caressing hand. It constraineth me, yea, it constraineth me, so that my soul stretcheth itself out. How long and weary it becometh, my strange soul. Hath the seventh day evening come to it precisely at noontide? Hath it already wandered too long, blissfully among good and ripe things? It stretcheth itself out, long and longer. It lieth still, my strange soul. Too many good things hath it already tasted. This golden sadness oppresseth it, it distorteth its mouth. As a ship that putteth into the calmest cove, it now draweth up to the land. Weary of long voyages and uncertain seas, is not the land more faithful? As such a ship huggeth the shore, tuggeth the shore, then it sufficeth for a spider to spin its thread from the ship to the land. No stronger ropes are required there. As such a weary ship in the calmest cove, so do I now repose, nigh to the earth, faithful, trusting, waiting, bound to it with the lightest threads. And with that, we actually come to the end of the episode. So I'm going to say thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon or night, no matter what time of day it is. I hope you all have a wonderful one of it. And as always, we will be back tomorrow for more of The Longing. Goodbye.